Retro Boy here, and I know it's been a while since I reviewed SpongeBob Season 8. Um, and I think the reason why because I wanted to just get into a few other things on my channel before talking about Season 8 again. Um, so Season 8. Let's move on to part 2 basically. Part 2 starts off with the Runaway Road Trip series. Yay! Okay, so basically the idea of these episodes is that they're basically vacation episodes where a character goes on vacation and do stuff on their vacation. The show actually has done a lot of other vacation episodes in the show. There's Playing to Sea, Making Waves, and that's about it actually. Can't really name another vacation episode um because I think these are the only 7 episodes where they're based around vacation ideas. What I mean by 7 is because I'm mentioning also Playing to Sea and also Making Waves. Because those are also they're both vacation theme episodes from different seasons. And I'm not mentioning them because I'll mention them in their own separate reviews. I'll probably review both of those episodes entirely, maybe on this channel after this video uploads. But let's start off with the SpongeBob Runaway Road Trip series. Basically, like I said before, it's vacation themed, so you already know what I just said. This was one of those. This was the first premiere week I got to see for SpongeBob new episodes when it comes to a special, because this was the very first one that had specials premiering in a week. It was basically a brand new premiere week. Not the first time I saw a SpongeBob episode in a premiere week, but this was the second time. And I also own the DVD release of this episode, of this special, along with the video game SpongeBob Surf and Skate Road Trip for Xbox 360. Honestly, go play the DS version because I much prefer the DS version over this. Because the Xbox 360 version kind of sucks. Kind of suck. And definitely not a good tie-in to the episode. There's also was a book based on this episode, and even Burger King toys as well. Yada yada yada. And also TV Marathon as well. And that's basically it. And also a short called Sandy's Vacation in Ruins, which I'll review in this review as well. So this will be the only short that I will review that is actually a separate short that was produced in Season 8. Anyway, A SquarePants Family Vacation. In this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick goes on SpongeBob's family vacation and through a road trip. This is a special that is kind of polarizing, I will say, because I don't see many reviews of it online or many people like this episode. Honestly, I'm more a person who likes this episode. I found it to be a good special that is a good 8 out of 10 for me. It may not be the best Season 8 episode, but at least it's still good. The highlight of this episode is probably the road song. And even though SpongeBob and Patrick got lost in the woods again, which I know a lot of people do not like that type of deal, I'm looking at you, Robert the Channel and Pie Guy Rules. Because I know how much they don't like this episode. Well, I know Robert the Channel does not like this episode and consider it's the worst Season 8 episode, even if I disagree. Hopefully, and look, and Luke Vaughn also says this episode was pretty alright and okay, which I understand, but honestly, I kind of like it more than most people, so yeah. I say SquarePants Vacation is kind of hard to talk about when you think about it because it kind of consists of basically a road trip first, in the first half of the episode, and then the second half is just SpongeBob and Patrick going through a wood. And I would say this is probably the most interesting woods that they went through. And this is not the first time that SpongeBob got trapped on an island or somewhere in a place, basically. I can list them all. Club SpongeBob, Wishing You Well, True for Square, SpongeBob versus the Big One, And even episodes afterwards, like this, also Barry in Time. I can't forget about that one because, that episode also has them getting trapped somewhere. And also Pineapple Fever as well. Pineapple Fever also counts in this slot because it has the characters being stuck somewhere or inside during something basically. Kind of like Club SpongeBob. Pretty much, Pineapple Fever is Club SpongeBob in a nutshell, but personally better. Just saying. Anyway, also, Food Con Castaway, a cabin in my kelp, and Delivery to Monster Island and Making Waves. Yep, I list them all. And also, oh shoot, I forgot one more episode. To Save a Squirrel. Yeah, forgot about that one. Anyway, basically, what I can say is that SquarePants Fan Vacation is basically, it may be not original, but I would say out of the many episodes where the characters get lost somewhere and has to find their way out, I would say this is definitely one of the better ones because at least it's not true for Square, where it basically just wastes its time and does nothing to the story. I'm pretty sure the characters getting stuck in the freezer was only shoehorned into the story. So, yeah. Ever thought about that? Huh. Anyway, Patrick's Staycation is honestly not very good. I'm kind of upset. No, not upset. I'm kind of disappointed that I don't like this one because honestly, I can see what it was trying to do, but I feel like the episode doesn't take itself too relaxing. I feel like Patrick's behavior in this episode kind of he acts very rude and selfish, kind of makes it also a little bit worse. Unfortunately, this episode is only a 4 out of 10, but I would have given it a 5 out of 10 if it wasn't because of Patrick's behavior. So 4 out of 10. Pretty disappointing too. Walking the Plankton is a little repetitive personally. I understand that. I do think that what saves this episode from being a 5 out of 10 to a 6 out of 10 is probably the setting itself. I think the setting really helps the episode a lot because honestly, I would have given this straight up a 5 out of 10. Because if it's just another Plankton steals the formula plot, because Season 8 has the most appearances out of the entire show where Plankton is the main focus there. Man. Can't believe they just always have to have Plankton be the main focus of some episodes. Like, he's also shoehorned, and sometimes he's shoehorned into the plot of episodes, like in True for Square, Atlantis Squarpantis, and Barry in Time, which I find pretty shocking that sometimes they shoehorn him into a episode because he doesn't need to be there. But, you know what? I do think overall that I don't hate Walking the Plankton. I just think it's a little repetitive, and at least the location saves this episode. So I think that's a good thing. Overall, Walking the Plankton gets a 6 out of 10 for me. Probably my second least favorite out of the Runaway Road Trip series. Next up is Mooncation. Yeehaw! I cannot wait to talk about Mooncation because this episode is basically Sandy's Rocket but done right. Definitely also better than Goons on the Moon too, which I'm not a really big fan of personally. Goons on the Moon is pretty average for a special, even though I wish it was just 11 minutes long. Anyway, anyway, um, yeah, I think I have nothing else to say actually, guys. So about sorry, actually no, I meant Mooncation is basically what I said before. Sandy's Rocket, but better. So that kind of explains the episode. Overall, I give Sandy's Mooncation a good 9 out of 10. Really enjoy this one personally. It's a pretty good episode. Uh, Next episode is Mr. Krabs Takes a Vacation, which I think is the most generic title you consider a episode from Season 8. Pretty generic title, personally. At least it's not boring as, oh, Grandma's secret recipe, or someone's in the kitchen with Sandy, or the Great Patty Caper. Yeah, I can't believe I'm ranting about the Great Patty Caper's title, even though it could have been called Mystery on the Railways or Mystery on the Ocean Express or anything like that. Or the Ocean Express. Anyways, I would say that this episode, Mr. Krabs Takes a Vacation, is a good episode that I really enjoy. Honestly, I really enjoy the jokes here. I really like the story. I like Mr. Krabs here too. He's just very funny and pretty clever. And I love the also wacky expressions here. Gives me some Aaron Springer vibes. Not gonna lie, why wasn't this episode written by Aaron Springer? Because that would actually make a lot of sense. Because it has the wacky expressions, the stiff animation, and stuff like that. Like, why wasn't this written by Aaron Springer? Because I'm pretty sure he could have done a massive good job on this episode. Since he did drew a photo of a person fish that appeared in Mr. Krabs Takes a Vacation, which is the Bill guy. Anyway, anyway, Mr. Krabs Takes a Vacation is a good episode. 9 out of 10. Anyways, I think that wraps up this video. Um, no. Sorry. Okay. Next episode, please. Well, actually, no. Um, yeah. Honestly, I think this episode was really great. Let's move on to Sandy's Vacation in Ruins, please. Sandy's Vacation in Ruins is a 5-minute short episode where SpongeBob and Sandy goes through this weird ancient place. I don't know how to explain it. The episode is kind of fine, but I don't think it's really that funny. It's just a short to promote the Runaway Road Trip episodes, and it is a separate short from any of the episodes, so there's not really much to discuss here. I do think the ending was a little just very obvious, but sometimes simple things is not always a bad thing. So I'll give it a good 8 out of 10. Very close to 7, but I guess I'll give it 8 because of the atmosphere of the temple place looking pretty good. It basically is like Atlantis Crepantis, but if it was down to its original idea. Which is actually pretty impressive how a short can be better than your 40-minute episode. That's just laughable. Next up is Ghoul Fools. Okay. Now we're getting into the third special. Yeah, honestly, I have nothing to say about Ghoul Fools. I'm sorry, but Ghoul Fools might be the most mid special of the entire show. It's actually probably the second mid word special of the entire show. It's so mid that I can't even describe this episode. So, yep, you know where this is going. 5 out of 10. Mid word episode. Yep, I'm using mid word because this episode is so mid that I cannot describe anything that's good about it. It's just so just middle of the road, so boring. It drags on a little bit, and nothing really happens until the last 3 minutes of the special. Yeah, when your special basically is mediocre at best and mid at best too, then you obviously know that your special is average. So yeah, mid word episode. I'm sorry. Sorry, Ghoul Fools, but this special overall was just go play the Flash game based on this episode. I think it's better than the episode itself. Or go read the book, actually. The book is way better than the episode itself. Mermaid Man Begins. Honestly, this is actually the final Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episode, and as their final episode, I think it was a great blast. So you know where this is going. 9 out of 10. I really like this one too. This one is probably one of the the cleverest episodes of Season 8. Plankton Good Eye is pretty decent. I have no complaints right there either. So Plankton, the reason why I'm only giving it a 6 out of 10, I would give it a 7, but honestly, I can't really give it a 7 because I feel like that some things were dragged, and I like the idea, but I feel like it was a little too executed too well. So yeah, it's kind of a 6 out of 10 episode, but still could have been it was very close to being a 7 out of 10 for me. But also a great concept of an episode too. It's probably like the best concept for a Plankton episode, one of the best ones personally, and the coolest ones too. Barnacle Face. Oh god, we're almost close to Pet Sitter Pat. Okay, so Barnacle Face is another decent episode that I have nothing to really talk about because I feel like I want to save all that interesting to talk about with Pet Sitter Pat's Moo Jazz Bikini Bottom and House Sitting for Sandy. Because, you know, those episodes are not very good. Ugh. Okay, let's just okay. Barnacle Face is decent. I think SpongeBob and Pearl works well in this episode, and I think working them together is great. So yeah, nothing really else to say. That's it. Yeah, I'm done. That's it. I think I'm finished with Barnacle Face. It's decent, but I have nothing else to say about it. And also pretty good. It's very decent. It's very close to 7 out of 10 as well, but I wouldn't really. I feel like some of the gross out kind of make me present for penitent from giving it a good score. Like I said, with Plankton's Good Eye. Oh gosh. Pet Sitter freaking Pat. I absolutely cannot stand Pet Sitter Pat. Pet Sitter Pat is Patrick's worst betrayal in the entire show. I absolutely despise Pet Sitter Pat. As a matter of fact, it is one of the worst Season 8 episodes, also, too. And this episode sucks balls for good reasons whatsoever. Ouch. And I really, really, really despise Pet Sitter Pat because of Patrick's behavior in this episode. I think the concept could have been easily good if it was the opposite. And how you could have done this good if Gary was the sitter and Patrick, and it could have been like how Patrick was pet sitting Gary, even though it was the opposite. See, that's how you could easily do it. But fortunately, yep, Ah, my gosh. Pet Sitter Pat is the worst portrayal of Patrick, and I really hate this episode. It's and Patrick is such a dumb egg that I can't even describe how much he's a dumb egg. And this episode should is personally in my top 10 worst SpongeBob episodes of the entire show. So that's or top 15 because maybe I'll include Ink Lemonade and Country Christmas and probably Squirrel Jelly to the list as well. But because maybe I'll add it to maybe it'll be number 13 on the list. But still, not a great episode. Or number 15 probably. I don't know. I'll probably have to change my ranking a lot. Anyway, Pet Sitter Pat, I can't. Nope. Yeah, Pet Sitter Pat is terrible. Everyone knows this episode is terrible. Like, who gives a single crap about Pet Sitter Pat? No one does. Not even Luke Vaughn likes this episode. Which is telling you something when this episode is not good. I'm sorry. I just cannot with this episode. It's overall just pretty bad. And Pet Sitter Pat is overall just a horrible episode where Patrick acts like a complete dummy, and I really do not want to watch this episode. And Patrick, you could literally go, you could go get smacked in the face because I really want you to get hit hard in the face. Urgh. Okay, I think I'm done with Pet Sitter Pat because, like I said, this episode is not good. Let's just move on to House Sitting for Sandy, or how Luke Vaughn presents it.
Yep, this is the one. This is the video that's going to finally put me out of my misery, isn't it? This is the exact point. The exact point. When I realized, Jesus bike on a Christ-sicle. These writers, these artists, are struggling. One of, if not the main thesis of Season 8 is that every single episode feels like it's barely making it out the door. Like your skin is losing wrinkles. You can physically feel the show running out of steam. And this is something that continues into Season 9A, by the way. No episode is that more apparent than with House Shitting for Sandy. This episode feels like it's running at 0.5 speed. Every single scene is so unnecessarily stretched out, it makes chewed up street gum look like a flaccid dildo. Everything that happens here could be accomplished in 6 minutes. SpongeBob agrees.
You said it for real, Luke Vaughn. Even though I may disagree this episode is bad, I could see why this episode is not considered good. It is so unnecessarily slow, and it's not funny. It is literally, I literally have a blank expression when I was watching this episode, and God, this feels like a mid-word episode. You know what this means? Another mid-word episode. Is it's very, very, very nothing I can say that I cannot said about this one. I think Luke Vaughn already has enough to say about it because really, I have nothing to discuss about this one that Luke Vaughn can review easily.
To house sit for Sandy. Patrick arrives to douche everything up. Sandy comes home to solve everything. That is all that happens. You could turn this into a 6-minute short and get more out of it versus how it actually turned out. Pathetic. 3 out of 10, number 41 on my list. The only reason it's not lower is because of this. There we go. The way Tom Kenny delivers one of my favorite things ever. Yeah, that's it. That's how low the mighty have fallen. I genuinely can't tell if SpongeBob not wearing his water helmet for half of the episode is like some weirdly delivered Aaron Springer comedy, or if the crew just could not give less of a crap anymore. Would it kill you to have a spark of energy for more than 3 seconds?
Oh boy, what is the next episode I'm gonna have to review? Smooches in Bikini Bottom. Okay. Before I ripped into this piece of garbage, I can say this for sure. This episode deserves all the hate it gets. Because really, I have nothing that I can discuss that already has already said about this one. It's no joke, literally in my top 15 worst SpongeBob episodes, or maybe top 20. I'll do a top 20 list or top 17 list or 18 list if you want me to. But this episode is literally it's like a 2 out of 10, and I cannot believe this episode exists. How can Pet Sitter Pat and both this episode and that episode is just both equally as awful as the other? They're both episodes that I just outright dislike, and no, screw it. Honestly, you know what? This is the prime example of why I hate the Squidward Gets Bothered episodes so much. And this episode may not be as bad as Choir Boys, but it's easily second place on my list of Squidward episodes I outright dislike in this whole show. Because, man, this one just sucks. And I don't mean that in a good way. And Patrick, oh my god, in this episode, all he does is just show up, eat, and leave. Show up, eat, and leave. And show up, eat, and leave. Like the world's worst plot device. And this episode is just painful to watch. It makes me feel bad for Squidward, like in every other Squidward Gets Bothered episode. It may not be as bad as Boating Buddies and Choir Boys, but it easily is third place on that list. Because, oh my gosh, this episode just makes you feel bad for Squidward. Like, I swear, every time I see Smooth Ass Bikini Bottom gets bringed up in the room of See the Nate episodes, I see it get ripped apart because of many reasons, and I know a lot of people hate this episode too. I have not seen a positive review on this episode at all. Like, no positive review on it. That just shows how bad it is. Overall, I absolutely despise Smooth Jazz Bikini Bottom. Patrick is said some of his worst here as well. And overall, I think this is one of the worst Squidward episodes of the entire show. Fight me as you will. Sure, even worse than The Thing, which is actually another Squidward episode that I outright dislike. And even Good Neighbors is better than this. And the ending also is one of the worst endings in SpongeBob history.
Are any of you familiar with the phrase
I
Squidward?
think I'm done reviewing this one.
If you have even the slightest inkling of SpongeBob's reputation over the internet, then you probably should be. It's a term that's existed for over a decade and has sent shockwaves throughout the community about how they treat episodes of this show starring Squidward Tentacle. If you've been paying any attention to this retrospective, you know that this phrase and everything it stands for is something that I have openly mocked and ridiculed repeatedly, as I think it's a crock of horse shit. In a comedy-driven cartoon, as long as the circumstances surrounding a character's suffering are entertaining to you, the viewer, then my response is, who cares? you. The ones that have culminated such a putrid reputation, and the ones that are so abysmally written, not even I can give them a pass. Smooth Jazz at Bikini Bottom is the straw that broke the sea camel's back. It is every single negative stereotype people complain about with the Squidward torture porns, but unironically. Like, bringing this episode up in a crowded room will be followed by a sea of bitching. That's how infamous it is. Every single individual plot beat that negatively affects Squidward is so blatantly unfair that the viewer has no choice but to feel bad for him. This is failure. In a comedy, I want to be laughing at, or at least with a character when humor happens.
I'm sorry, but like I said, Smooth Jazz is just a awful episode that nobody should really watch, actually. And it's overall one of Season 8's worst episodes. Easily number 4 on my list of worst episodes of Season 8. Easily number 4. Because the fact that it makes you feel bad for Squidward is just so awful to see. It just, oh my god, this episode is just awful. I'm sorry, but that's, I am trying to be calm as possible because I feel like I cannot take it anymore with this episode. So you know what? Screw it. I'll give it a 2 out of 10. It's only a 2 out of 10 because I'm not giving it a 1 out of 10 is because, no, it already is a 1, well, no, it's already a 2 out of 10. Like, literally number, I don't know, 45, number 44 on the list. Because I can't, no. I know a lot of people might say you're going a little insane right now. But what I can say right now is because since this episode is so generally awful that it's honestly one of my least favorite Squidward episodes. Number 4 being Squid's Visit, which I know I know some people might like that episode even though I disagree. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Cartoon Retro Boys out.